Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel at NGN TV Nigeria. Click on the subscribe button and be the first to get notifications.
On the 18th of March 2025, President Bola Tinubu, in a rather shocking move, declared a state of emergency in Rivers State over the prolonged political crisis in the oil-rich state. The governor, SIMINILAYI Fubara, his deputy, Professor NGOZI, and members of the State House of Assembly were all suspended for 6 months, during which the state will be governed by an appointed administrator who is to ensure the maintenance of peace and security in the oil-rich state. However, this move has sparked outrage, with many people questioning the constitutionality of the move and the motive behind it. In this special report, our correspondent traced the beginning of the political crisis in the state that led to the current state of affairs.
Suspended Governor of Rivers State, SIMINILAYI Fubara, in May 2022, with the full backing of then Governor Nyesom Wike, surmounted all obstacles to emerge as the gubernatorial flag bearer of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, in the state for the March 2023 general election. The endorsement of Governor Wike will go on to underpin his outstanding victory against his rivals. However, not long into Governor Fubara's administration, which began on May 29, 2023, an unexpected rift emerged, setting the previously aligned parties on a collision course. More disturbing is the fact that to this day, the reason for this fallout is still in the realm of speculation. What started as political disaffection will defy all remedies to rock the political scene in the country for over a year and a half and counting. Ultimately, it culminated in the declaration of a state of emergency in Rivers State and the suspension of Governor Fubara on the 18th of March 2025 by President Bola Tinubu. At the early stages of this feud between Fubara and his benefactor, there were spillovers that involved the then local government chairman in the state, who threatened not to leave office after the expiration of their tenure. While the attempts of local council executives to defy the governor failed, the battle shifted grounds to the House of Assembly, leading to the emergence of two camps. 27 members led by Martins Amaiwule sided with Governor Wike and took on the inordinate task of frustrating the governor, even to the point of initiating an impeachment process against him, while Edison Ehie, who will later resign, led a group of 5 legislators who stood in solidarity with the governor. The two-faction House of Assembly soon became a subject of multiple litigations, especially when the Ehie-led legislators declared the seats of 27 pro-Wike lawmakers vacant after brazenly waving the APC flag and announcing their defection from the PDP. While all of this was going on, a section of the House of Assembly complex was blown up, signaling the escalation of the squabbles, leading to a fierce war of words between the two parties in the media and litigations that ended up at the Supreme Court, of which Wike and his team are now relishing in their victory. However, it is clear that all through this period, the governor leveraged the now defunct Ehie and later Oko Jumbo-led assembly to deliver what many described as unprecedented governance in the oil-rich state.
This is the first time that civil servants have been paid the 13 months. Yes. Civil servants have been paid all their salaries. Yes. For the first time, there are roads connecting the riverine community. Yes. It has never happened.
We are enjoying his style of government. He is affecting lives. The downtrodden, the fisherman in the pond, the market woman in the market, the farmer in the bush, everybody is feeling the pulse of the governor because of the style of his government.
At the height of the political crisis just before his suspension, the fruits of these commitments were on display as he went around the length and breadth of the state, inaugurating completed projects which were ready for use. He also demonstrated his commitment to implementing the Supreme Court's orders, starting with the dissolution of local council administrations following the court's declaration that their election was unconstitutional.
Although we disagree with the judgment, we are bound to obey the order made therein. as a law-abiding government.
However, on the other hand, the House of Assembly members who were reinstated by the Supreme Court would not slow down in their quest, moving on to resume their impeachment process on the governor.
The clerk will publish in at least 3 national dailies the notice of allegations of gross misconduct brought pursuant to Section 188 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria as amended 1999 in reference to acts of gross misconduct in the performance of the functions of the office of the governor by His Excellency SIMINILAYI Fubara, GSSRS, Governor of Rivers State.
Then finally, on the 18th of March 2025, President Tinubu curiously declared a state of emergency in Rivers State. This was a few days after he met and instructed leaders from the region who, amongst other issues, presented to him the Rivers political situation to go back and help the governor resolve the issues. The state of emergency in the state effectively suspended the governor, his deputy, and the embattled House of Assembly members for 6 months.
States are hereby suspended.
The president also appointed a retired naval officer as administrator in the state for the next 6 months with immediate effect. While this is not the first time a state of emergency has been declared since Nigeria's return to democracy in 1999, this one stands out due to its unique circumstances. The last state of emergency declared by former President Goodluck Jonathan in 2013 in Adamawa, Borno and Yobe states was in response to the Boko Haram insurgency. However, during that period, neither the affected governors nor state legislators were removed from office. The argument at the time was that the president lacked the legal authority to suspend a democratically elected governor or dissolve the State House of Assembly. Both political observers and residents of the state expressed concerns about the implications of this move on governance and service delivery in the state.
At least as if they're supposed to call them together and call this one to order and call this one to order and settle this case. Which way did they go bring another governor? They go bring another person, come keep here. We will not get fight here, nobody will fight anybody here. There is peace in the River State.
From the look at things, people are not killing themselves, people are not fighting here. If we should judge and talk about people where people are killing, we know the places. So even at that place, so the election is not going on. How much less the River State? The River State is a peaceful place.
Undeterred by the outcries that followed, the National Assembly, after an initial delay, ratified the decision of the president confirming the state of emergency in the state. This also did not go down well with people who expected the legislative arm to oversight the president on the controversial move.
I cry and I wail for the National Assembly of Nigeria. I thought they are supposed to be the bastion of hope for democracy, but unfortunately we see a rape of democracy at the national level. Now, if you look at the voting, 2/3 majority is required. They are what should be there physically present to vote, cast their vote, not by voice vote. What we saw was a voice vote, and voice vote is not supposed to constitute the 2/3 majority. To determine an issue of a state of emergency, that again is an affront to democracy.
No doubt this development bothers many Nigerians, but with the National Assembly ratifying the decision, it seems like a sealed deal except for the litigations that are beginning to arise, like the one filed in the ECOWAS court by the leadership of the Ijaw Youth Council. The people's feelings about the political crisis is captured in this summary by former President Jonathan, who is obviously unhappy and disappointed at the glaring abuse of power by current political actors.
What is happening in Nigeria today regarding the situation in Rivers State is like an Indian proverb that said that if somebody is sleeping, really sleeping, you can easily wake up that person. But if the person is pretending to sleep, you find it difficult to wake up that person. The key actors in Nigeria, from executive to the legislature and the judiciary, they know the correct thing to do, but they are refusing to do it. They are pretending to sleep. And waking such a person is extremely difficult because the person knows the right thing. A clear abuse of offices, clear abuse of power, clear abuse of privileges, cutting across from the three arms of government, from the executive to the parliament to the judiciary. And I always plead with our people that whatever we do affects everybody. For example, no businessman can bring his money to invest in a country where the judiciary is compromised, where a government functionary can dictate to judges what judgment they will give. No man brings his money to invest in that economy because we are taking a big risk. And if we must build a nation for our children and our grandchildren, no matter how painful it is, we must strive to do what is right.
Inside the Niger Delta,